Dallas police and the ATF announced a partnership to reduce violent crime this summer. Fox 4's Sean Rabb live at Dallas Police Headquarters with details of what's called Operation Take Aim. Sean.
Yeah, it's a program in place now, Steve, where folks are going to be charged with federal crimes for those people who are repeat offenders. At the same time, proactively reaching out to people who have a history of being offenders and maybe might go down that crime road again. The U.S. Attorney's Office here in Dallas, one of the top 5 in the country for getting gun crime convictions. Still, while crime may be down, violent crimes are still happening, and this initiative aimed to change that.
I am proud to announce Operation Take Aim, a joint initiative with ATF Dallas and the Dallas Police Department that zeroes in on the offenders we believe are most likely to commit violence.
Javier Dominique Suttles is who U.S. Attorney Leah Simonton points to as example. Suttles, no stranger to Dallas County Jail and courts. At least 13 arrests since 2014. Most recently, placed on deferred adjudication and probation for robbery and aggravated robbery.
He was given these chances, but he did not take advantage of them. Instead, the federal complaint in this case details that Mr. Suttles allegedly went on to commit 3 armed robberies over the course of just 5 days in late May.
Brahms Restaurant on Inwood Road among them, and a Metro PCS store also on Inwood Road.
Each time he brandished a handgun with an extended magazine and menaced the store's employees.
The government says once threatening to kill the employee, another time warning he would shoot up the entire store.
In one particularly awful incident, Mr. Suttles, apparently frustrated that there wasn't more cash on the premises, allegedly ordered an employee into the bathroom and forced the employee to strip naked. Luckily, that person was able to escape safely from the situation before being seriously hurt.
Operation Take Aim, focusing on violent repeat offenders who bring terror.
What's more Texas than having a milkshake and a cheeseburger at a Brahms? Until this dude walks in, right? Until he walks in and he points a gun at somebody, and that causes lifetime trauma. Every one of these cases that we work together on causes trauma to someone somewhere. We're committed to putting these people in jail.
Dallas police identifying through criminal history data those who might be at high risk to reoffend, hoping to turn them in a different direction.
It doesn't matter if they commit acts of violence themselves with a gang, a crew, a posse, or whoever they hang out with. We have made it our business to learn about individuals causing violence in Dallas. We've also made it our business to make sure that they have resources to succeed.
So this is face-to-face intervention that the chief is talking about. It's happening in other parts of the country. Really, it gives these offenders a couple of choices. Either consider the resources being made available to you, or if you get caught again, look at federal time, hard time with no parole. We'll have more on this intervention program by the chief in the days ahead.
Hi there and good evening. I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. Leaders in the law enforcement community and those who train officers are praising the work of the Allen officer who found, confronted, and killed the mass shooter last month. The body camera video evidence was released following a grand jury's decision that cleared that officer of any wrongdoing.
I'm moving as fast as I can, trying to get over there.
We're going to show you now the entire 5 minutes of the video that was released from the perspective of the officer who took down the shooter early last month. And while the graphic portions were altered, we still warn you, it's intense. Fox 4's David Centenary is in Allen tonight with that video. David.
Well, the officer who took on that mass shooter is being called a hero. Tonight, we are going to guide you through his raw body camera footage.
Hey, make sure y'all be good, okay? And make sure you wear your seatbelts when mommy's driving, okay?
Saturday, May 6th, 3:35 in the afternoon. An Allen police officer speaking with children at the Allen Premium Outlets has no idea what's around the corner.
Seatbelt. 145, I think we got shots fired at the outlet mall.
A mass shooter is beginning a rampage against innocent victims.
I got people running.
The officer grabs his rifle from his squad vehicle and takes action.
Get going, get going, get moving!
He begins walking and then running toward the gunfire.
They're moving further away from me. Go, 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 keep moving!
It's now been 40 seconds since the first shots were heard. You can feel the officer's sense of urgency in the body camera footage.
Get out of here!
The officer is gaining ground on the gunman while working to gauge his surroundings. He communicates his location to backup. All while, more gunshots are heard.
3725, where you at?
I'm bipolar rifle arm moving, trying to get to him. They're still shooting.
We do not know what is going through the mind of this officer. One can only imagine, but his message you're about to hear signals just how dire the situation is.
101, everybody's not on call. We're getting protected right now.
I'm on foot. I need everybody I got.
I need everybody I got, he says, as he continues toward the gunfire.
What? Yes! What you got? Are we a mass shooter? Yeah, we got people coming.
We now know the gunman killed 8 people and wounded 7. It now appears that right here,
145, I believe we got a mass shooter.
the officer is passing injured victims for the first time.
I'm passing injured.
We're now in the final minute before the officer locates the gunman.
I'm moving as fast as I can, trying to get over there.
Keep in mind, the officer still does not know exactly where the gunman is at. It's only the sound of gunshots he's following. The officer is about to radio in, and after that, he'll hear even more gunfire. And this time, it's close.
I'm about to tell me here for you. I don't know where he's at. Stop the start. Hey, actually, still going.
Now, the officer is in position, and he fires the first of 14 shots at the gunman. Take a listen.
Police, I got him down.
It appears the gunman is hit.
Drop the gun!
We do not hear any more shots from the gunman, but while the gunman is down, the officer is working to make sure there's still no additional threat.
Hey, get off the air. I'm over here by Liz. I got him down.
He's also working to keep bystanders away.
Get away from here! Get away from here! Get away!
It took 3 minutes and 15 seconds for the officer to locate the gunman and get the first of 14 shots off.
I'm by first class cut. I'm moving up on him. Who's just behind me? Watch your fire. Watch your fire! I got him down!
The officer appears to recognize backup arriving, and the gunman no longer a threat.
I think so! I'm not hearing any gunshots! Is he down? Yeah. Bro? Got him, bro!
We got one.
Now stay your down! Stay your down! You good? You got him?
Allen Police Department tells Fox 4 the officer asked the department to keep his name private, and he does not want to do any sort of interviews at this point in time. Steve?
Gosh, I'm struck, first of all, by how far he had to run and how good a shot he was, completely worn out and able to regather himself to do that. So, David, I talked to former McKinney City Councilman and longtime Dallas police officer, SWAT officer, Special Marshal Deputy Frederick Frazier. He says this officer, had specialized patrol rifle training to use that AR, well-trained in a stressful situation. And, oh, by the way, he says the men and women he works with in McKinney, Says he's the best. So the right guy was in the parking lot talking about seatbelt safety when the shot started. It's amazing.
Yeah, Stephen, I was speaking with one criminal justice expert earlier today who says it's important to keep in mind that there were countless scenarios this officer could have encountered, probably countless scenarios that were running through his mind. Take a listen.
Had this officer not shown up, who knows how many additional people would have died. Remember that this officer doesn't know that the aggressor is only one person. We know that now. But at the time the officer showed up, there could have been 2 or 3 people out there, and yet he takes his chance on his own life.
Allen Police Department released a statement reading, in part, the officer recognized the danger, ran toward the gunfire, and neutralized the threat. And for his actions, the Allen community is forever grateful. Now, the department says it has requested a comprehensive and independent review of what happened. That would be by the International Association of Chiefs of Police. They're hoping it offers insight to any future training and responses. But again, hopefully these responses never happen again in Allen or anywhere around here. Steve, back to you.
Well, it goes to you're all by yourself. You still go confront the shooter. And that's what he did. And 8 lives were lost, but a lot more could have been that way. All right, David, great reporting. Thank you. A Plano man arrested in connection with the death of his wife was out of jail on bond for a child sex charge. Carlton Dudley is now charged with abuse of a corpse. He reported his wife, Sarah Dudley, missing on Saturday after police found her body at Lewisville Lake. They found evidence he was also there with her because of his ankle monitor. Fox 4's Amelia Jones spoke to family members of the victim. Amelia.
Steve, I spoke to Sarah Dudley's cousin. She told me Sarah was the purest soul and wouldn't hurt anyone. According to her cousin, Sarah and her husband, Carlton Dudley, seemed happy together. Now, with his arrest, the family is wrapping their mind around what could have happened. On Saturday, June 24th, Plano police say Carlton Dudley reported his wife, 32-year-old Sarah Dudley, missing. In an interview with detectives, Dudley said he believes she disappeared that afternoon while walking to work at Ross Sushi on Lone Star Drive. This is across from the couple's apartment complex in Plano.
Upon his return back at approximately 4 o'clock in the afternoon, she had already left to go to work. I think her shift was to start at 4 o'clock.
Dudley told police around 4:40 that afternoon he went to Hidden Cove Park at Lake Lewisville to kayak.
He's claiming that he couldn't get his kayak blown up. It's a soft kayak, and so he just stayed up there at the marina for a while and walked around.
2 days later, police say a body was found at Hidden Cove Park. It was Sarah Dudley. A cause of death has not yet been determined. Police say an ankle monitor 37-year-old Carlton Dudley wore provided key evidence for them. Court records show he was out on a $60,000 bond after a September 2022 arrest for aggravated sexual assault of a child in Frisco. Detectives say data from the ankle monitor showed he lied.
It actually did place Mr. Dudley at the marina during the time frame that he was at, but it also showed him going out into the water for a short period of time and then coming back on shore. He did not stay on shore the entire time.
Police say Dudley also revealed an item that was missing from the apartment that was found with the body. They would not say what it was, but it was enough probable cause to arrest him for abuse of a corpse. His latest bond is set at $500,000.
I was devastated. I couldn't believe it. Just seemed so unreal.
Brittany Weiskopf is Sarah's cousin. She told us the couple was together for 10 years.
He didn't seem like he was harmful or anything, so they seemed very happy.
Weiskopf believes Sarah would have reached out if something was wrong.
I think she would have said something to me, that she was in any kind of danger or situation that she didn't want to be in.
Plano police tell Fox 4 they are not aware of any domestic violence. Weiskopf wants people to know her cousin will be greatly missed.
Such a pure soul. And so much to offer the world, you know. It's just so hard to believe, you know, that she's gone.
More charges could be coming when the autopsy report comes back from the Tarrant County Medical Examiner's Office. Anyone who was at Hidden Cove Park last Saturday between 4 and 8 p.m., if you saw something or have videos, you're asked to call the Plano Police Crimes Against Persons Unit, who is leading the investigation.
Dallas police have no clues about who the masked man is who murdered a 7-Eleven clerk in cold blood. The reward now stands at $10,000. And we now see the face of Nathaniel Ogbulu killed for no reason. Fox 4's Sean Rabb has this week's track down.
I'm with Detective David Grubbs. We're at the 7-Eleven at Hampton where the clerk was killed a little over a week ago now. Detective, the video is out, but the good call hasn't come in yet.
No. You know, he was here just working like normal day. Guy came in, really no warning. He just came in and it was on.
Tell me who your victim is.
Nathaniel Ogbulu. Nice guy. This guy greeted everybody with a smile, asked them how their day was, everything. You know, every day people would come in, they knew him, and you know, there's no reason for this guy to have been gunned down like this.
Did your victim, did he try to resist? Did he try to fight back?
No, nothing. He just, like I said, when this guy came in, it was on, and he just came in, he demanded his money, and then he just shot him. And he's murdered in front of his wife. His wife was in the store at the time, and she had to watch this whole thing. So surely somebody will do the right thing and tell me who this guy is. And he's comes in, comes out. His clothing is fairly distinct. Surely somebody recognizes him, seen him in that clothing before.
What are you asking this community to do?
I'm just asking for somebody to call me and tell me who it is. Okay, this poor man, never done anything wrong in his life, gunned down in front of his wife with no warning while he's just doing his job trying to make a living. And nobody in the community seems to recognize this guy or wants to help this guy out and do the right thing. There's no way that's the case.
All right. Let's put your cell phone out there so maybe they want to text you.
Yes, sir.
If they don't want to call some other number. How can folks reach you?
Best way to get a hold of me is it's my cell phone, 469-540-6377. You can call me that way, shoot me a text messages, whatever you want. If you want to email me, my email is david.grubbsjr@dallaspolice.gov.
All right. Look, it's important that you help out. Do the right thing. Innocent man just working, gunned down with no provocation. Reach out to Detective David Grubbs. Help track down the killer of the clerk at this 7-Eleven.
And you can watch past track down stories and maybe help solve a crime. Go to the Fox 4 YouTube page, youtube.com/Fox4News. Police in Royce City say a woman who had been a nuisance at a nursing home in the past brought a rifle to the facility this morning and opened fire. They say the shots the 55-year-old Sarah Carter fired did not hit anyone and that she did eventually surrender. Fox 4's Amelia Jones joins us with details, including a possible motive. Amelia.
Right, Clarice. Police say the suspected shooter was there looking for her ex, who is currently a patient at that nursing home. Back in March, police say the woman was arrested for criminal trespassing at the same facility where police say she opened fire today. Royce City police say around 9:15 Friday morning, they received a call for an active shooter at the Royce City Medical Lodge. They say 55-year-old Sarah Carter fired at least 2 rounds with a rifle into the wall and ceiling.
She came in, she was yelling his name, yelling profanities at the staff as she entered the room, or she entered the building holding the rifle.
Royce City Police Chief Kirk Aldridge says Carter was looking for her ex, who is a patient at the rehab and nursing home facility. Police say she confronted 4 employees, then took off down a hallway where her ex used to stay.
Officers arrived at the location and were directed down a hallway of the facility where the patients live. The officers went in, started clearing the rooms.
One of the patients told officers Carter was barricaded in a room. Police say she pushed furniture up against the door.
The officers forced the door open and could see the suspect, a female suspect, inside. She was inside with another patient, actually 2 patients. There was a female standing beside her, and there was a male subject in his bed.
Police say Carter pointed the gun at the female patient and forced her into the room. When officers got inside, Carter was not armed. She put down the rifle. She was taken into custody. No one was injured.
This could have been a bad situation.
Carter does have a criminal history related to the nursing home and outside it. Police say they've received 8 calls involving Carter and the medical lodge. And in March, records show she was arrested for criminal trespassing there. But police say these previous charges did not involve violence. Although records show she does have a felony arrest for assault on a public servant and some misdemeanor cases for drugs, theft, and resisting arrest in her background.
Right now, she's facing 5 counts for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and we're still investigating to see if there's any more charges to be filed.
Aldridge commended his officers who were able to find Carter and arrest her within 6 minutes.
So the rooms are full in that facility. It could have been extremely bad. We had the report of the one down. We were lucky that when we got there, that wasn't the case. So we're blessed that, nobody lost their lives today.
Aldridge says that Carter's ex was recently moved to another room and she did not find him today. She's currently being held at the Rockwall County Jail.